Hello, hello, hello. Microphone check. Hello, hello, hello. And how the hell is everybody out there? Appreciate you tuning in. Hope all is well. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the show. And welcome to SJD Country. I'm your man, Smoking Joker Dad, and we're going to be talking about vape. The battle against vape here today. Now, vapes are fairly new. They've only been out since 2017, but they've actually came a long way since 2019. So there's not a whole lot of information out there on the vapes and whatnot, but there's enough out there. There's enough out there that we can talk about. So I want to say thank you guys again for tuning in and hanging out. Hope everybody's well. Hope you're having a good week so far. And just so everybody knows, thank you so much for tuning in. Just so you know.
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Still a piece of garbage, chat. Still a piece of garbage. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our opening statement here. Currently, like I was saying, there's not a whole lot of information about the e-cigs as of yet, and the vape systems and everything like that. But really, the controversy is the flavoring. It's all in the flavoring. It's something that it's the stuff that they put in these flavors. They're putting stuff like let's see, where's it at here? They're putting stuff like nickel, tin, lead. Nana Rolls, good morning. How are you? Appreciate you tuning in. How's your day going so far? But they're putting stuff like nickel, tin, lead. Where's the other thing? Nicotine, ultrafine particles, dicetryl. And then this one here really got me. Benzene. It's a chemical found in car exhausts, right? They're putting them into these flavor things because they're going around and they're claiming that these things are pure and they're, all these juices and stuff like that. They're really not. It's all these mixtures of different chemicals that they're putting into this stuff to give it that flavor. It's not natural juices. It's not 100% berries. It's not none of that shit. It's all just a big concoction to get you to buy their product. So, and what they're doing is, Nana Rules, you're doing good. All right, good to hear. Good to hear. But what they're doing is that they're targeting young people and teenagers, younger adults and teenagers with the flavors. I mean, you can get some shit that's like mango, berry, tropical, sunshine. You know what I mean? It's like, how are they coming up with all these flavors? There are currently, let's see, where's it at here? Boom, 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 boom. The FDA stopped 946,000 flavored tobacco products from being sold this year. 946,000. That's almost 1 million products that they said, you're not selling that because of the shit that's in them. It's these flavored things. It's not the nicotine. They actually say that if you use a vape with just the nicotine and it tastes like, like a cigarette, it's actually safer for you to quit smoking. If you're looking to quit smoking, vape is a good, but it's also a bad alternative. It can be a good alternative if you stick with just straight nicotine, no flavors, no crazy goofy shit, whatever. It's just, it tastes like a cigarette and it's got the nicotine in it. But once you start getting into the flavor pods and the different flavors and the different sizes of cartridges and everything like that, one Juul pod is equal to 1 pack of cigarettes whenever it comes to the amount of nicotine that is in a Juul pod. A Juul pod is equal to 1 pack of cigarettes. So remember that, 1 pack of cigarettes is equal to 1 Juul pod. That's really not a whole lot. I mean, them Juul pods aren't very big. Now, I have some here that are mine, but mine are THC vapes. So they're similar, but they're different. And where they're different is like this guy right here. He is disposable, right? You can charge it if you need to, but you can throw it away at the end of the day. Once this little stuff is gone in here, in this little vial right here, because whenever you get them, they come with this little vial right here filled up. This one here, I think, was filled up about halfway or whatever. And then there's your tip. And then there's the end of it. Now, whenever you draw on it, it should turn blue. Yeah. So then that lets you know that it's working, right? Now, they're saying that these are worse than this style. This style is disposable. Once this is completely gone, I'll just throw the whole thing in the trash, and that's it. It doesn't come with a charger. You can charge it with a USB micro C, I think it is. But then there's this kind that comes. You have to buy the pod separate, right? It comes like this. This is what the pod looks like. It's usually filled up a little bit more, but I've been toking on it a little bit, and then and then you end up getting one of these little fancy dancy things. This is what you put it in, right? So then you just drop this guy right down in here, and then there's a little indicator light here on the top. It's magnetic, so it holds it in there to where it's not coming out. See, I got it by the pod, and it's not going anywhere. So then whenever you draw on it, there's a little dot right here. Not sure if you guys can see the dot or not. Now, the problem with these ones is that sometimes they work really good, and then sometimes they don't. Like this right here, it's not working that great. It's not seated into this thing very well. But they're saying that this style right here is more safer for you than this style, because they can regulate and they can research what's in this little pod. They're not researching and they're not regulating what's in these, and this is what's hurting people. These disposable ones are what is hurting these young adults and teenagers, because they're packed full of these goofy ass flavors and all this other inviting, enticing stuff. They make it sound like there's very little nicotine, but like I just said, there's one Juul pod is equal to a pack of cigarettes as far as nicotine goes, whenever it comes to the vapes. So they're saying that the disposable ones, they are not passing any regulations on. They're not doing anything against. So these things here are pretty much whatever the hell the manufacturer wants to put in them, they can for right now, because there's no regulations against them. There's just so many companies. There's so many different flavors. There's just so many different products. Like this one here is just like a pen looking thing. It's real slim. Now my daughter, she e-cigs or e-vapes or vapes or whatever, electronic nicotine delivery system, otherwise known as ENDS. She does this quite regularly, and I know that she's into all the different flavors and all that other stuff, but she's got this thing that's like that big, and it's like that big around, and it's kind of like a funky, it almost reminds you of like almost like a stop sign, but a little bit more square. I don't know my shapes and all that stuff outside of a square, circle, and a flipping triangle. You know what I'm saying? So, but hers, it lights up and all this stuff whenever you draw on it, and it's got all these fancy LED lights and stuff. They're saying that as long as she was using that little delivery thing and just using nicotine pods, she would be fine. There's actually studies that show that smoking the nicotine vapes is safer for you, but whenever she starts getting into the flavors, that's where the trouble comes into. That's where these kids are getting. Let's see what else do we got here. I know I got it all written down here. I got like 5 pages of notes here, guys, so just bear with me here. I'm trying to find this stuff. It's obviously still harmful for your heart and lungs. Anything that you ingest in your body that's a chemical is not good for your body. But oh yeah, I know what else I wanted to show you guys too. The packaging that these come in. All right, this is the one that's disposable. Nowhere on here does it say anything about the FDA. I thought that it did because I buy these from a dispensary. I thought that the FDA was all over these, but there is nowhere on here. This one here is the little pin type, and this one here is the disposable one for the other thing. Nowhere on here does it say anything about being approved by the FDA. I was looking at this earlier too to make for sure I didn't miss anything. And there's nowhere on here does it say that it's been approved by the FDA. So I don't really know comfortable I feel continuing to buy these things. I thought for sure that these ones were approved by the FDA because you're buying them from a dispensary. Unless I'm wrong, then I probably will not be buying these that often anymore because the flavors, right? Like this one here is like popsicle or something like that. This one here is OG Kush. So, whatever the hell that means. But it's the flavors that are causing issues with people. Let's see. Headaches, fatigue, irritability. The anxiety and depression is coming because of like the nicotines and stuff like that. These kids are getting strung out on the nicotine because they're pretty damn high in nicotine. I mean, if you think about it, if you've ever seen them the little jewel pods, that's not a very big pod thing there, and it's equal to a whole pack of cigarettes. It could lead to higher levels of ADHD. They're also saying too that the smoke that comes whenever you exhale could potentially be blinding. Like if you were to blow it into somebody's eyes, because of the different chemicals and stuff, depending on what flavor it is, it could potentially blind you. If somebody was to come up and blow the smoke in your face, it could potentially blind you. Let's see. 56% of e-cig users are more likely to have a heart attack. That's freaking nuts. 34% are more likely to have a stroke. That is crazy. 56% of e-cig users are more likely to have a heart attack. 56%. That's a hell of a number, guys. That is a hell of a number. 56%. Wow. There's been 530 cases across 38 states. We've had, let's see. We've had 68 people pass away since 2019 due to it. The popcorn lung is linked to, it's called diacetyl, a chemical used to flavor some foods and e-cigs. Now, that diacetyl or however you pronounce it, that used to be in the old school popcorn. The stuff that you put on your stove, it was for flavoring. Well, once they took that out because they figured out that it was causing people to get cancers and stuff like that, so they took that out of the old school popcorn. The lower end of the vapes that you buy are obviously the worst because they haven't been approved. And here's another thing too, guys. As long as you apply for an application through the FDA, you can still sell your product until it's cleared or taken off the shelves. That's why you have some stuff that's out and then it's gone because it didn't get approved by the FDA. But you're still allowed to sell your product in not as large a capacity or as large as quantity as you will whenever the product gets passed through, because then then you get full access to be able to sell it anywhere and everywhere. That's why you're finding some of these e-cig things, these vapes and shit like that popping up at gas stations, Circle K's and Marathons and stuff like that, because that's pretty much the target area. They know that a lot of younger people come in there. They know that, gas stations, especially gas stations nowadays, are just massive. I mean, you can go in there and sit down and have, a decent lunch from food from a gas station. I was watching National Lampoons the other day, and Chevy Chase is like, hey, I'm so hungry I could break open those sandwiches we got from the gas station. I'm so hungry I could eat a sandwich from a gas station. Back then it was unheard of. Now it's like it's mainstream. I mean, now Sheetz came out and they were open 24/7. I mean, who does that as a gas station? I mean, growing up, it was always, they were closed. Around here in my neighborhood, in my area, whenever I was growing up, Sundays, this town was shut down tighter than a freaking frog's asshole on Sundays after 5 o'clock in the evening. After 9 o'clock, Monday through Friday, pretty much this town was shut down. You could definitely tell whenever it was nighttime because everybody was at home. Everybody was done running around and doing their stuff, but it's not like that no more. Gas stations are open a lot later. Some are still open 24/7. And, there's just such a large amount of different people coming in and out of these gas stations now. I mean, think about all the young kids, all the young teenagers that are driving for the first time and they stop to get gas and they're standing there and they see this e-cig thing, and they're like, oh, cool, So they grab it, and my buddies are doing all this too, and blah blah blah, not knowing that those are the absolute worst for you. That the lower end, the cheaper end, if it's just a couple, $2-3, if it's too good to sound, if it's too good to be true, people, it usually is. So stay the hell away from the cheap ones that you can buy at the freaking gas station, because they're garbage. They're junk. The THC vapes are not any better for you, but we'll get into the THC vapes at another time. I just wanted to show you guys these two because I do have two different kinds here. It says that it's 95% safer than cigarettes because there's actually 600 different chemicals in cigarette smoke and just regular cigarette smoke. 600 different chemicals. Now, I'm a cigarette smoker myself. I have been since, I don't know, I guess I'd say I'd started full-time smoking right around the age of 17. So I'm 44 now. I've been smoking for 20 some years. I would love to quit, but that's a different story all in itself as well. You know what I mean? But, we didn't have things like this growing up. Back in my day, somebody who smoked was like, oh, wow, you're pretty cool. But now to see a young person smoke is like, that just doesn't look right. You know what I mean? But to see them vaping, oh, okay, that looks right. That looks more appropriate, I guess, than whenever I was growing up. Hell, everybody was smoking. You know what I mean? It was a cool thing to do. You were a cool freaking kid, man, if you were smoking cigarettes whenever I was growing up. And little did I know that I would still be doing it whenever whenever I'm 44 years old. I had no idea. Trust me, had I known, I would have never started smoking. So don't start smoking, guys. Don't start e-smoking, e-vaping, whatever. Just leave that shit to the curb, man. Let other people deal with it. It has the same side effects as cigarettes. It's, the coughing, the wheezing, the occasional chest pain if you do it too much, nausea, vomiting, sometimes fever, sometimes itchiness, puffy, dry eyes. It can also cause diarrhea. So, unless you want to be the Pepto guy at the end of the commercial, don't, hypoxia, whatever the hell hypoxia is. I don't know what that is. Caffeine sensitivity, minor nosebleeds, rash and burning sensation of the face, dry mouth, dry skin. You're definitely going to get addicted to nicotine. That's an absolute given, because there's just as much nicotine in these things as there is a cigarette. And nicotine can worsen your anxiety and depression. I know a lot of people think that if they smoke a cigarette, it'll help them calm down, but in reality, it does the total opposite. It actually raises your blood pressure and increases your blood pressure and kind of makes you more anxious. It's like saying, you know what? Every morning I like to chill out, have a cup of coffee and a cigarette. I'm actually, in my body, I'm not chilling anything out, right? I'm hitting it with caffeine and I'm hitting it with nicotine first thing in the morning. So my body's going, whoa, on the inside. It's energized right now. You know what I mean? It's like, holy shit, but I'm so used to it that I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I'm, but on the inside, my body's like freaking out because, nicotine, smoking a cigarette is an upper for your blood pressure and your heart and everything like that. And caffeine is also an upper for your heart and your blood pressure and all that stuff. Syndicus, hello, Smoking Joking Dad. I am wondering if you're interested in the topic of the next step in not only democracy, but in our collective identity. Hold on, let me move this thing out of the way. I got my collective identity, which I would suppose is beyond polarization or greater, or rather argumentation. What? How would I feel about you calling in? No, I don't know what you mean about calling in, brother. You kind of, I don't understand. I don't know if you're just trying to use too big of words or what, and throw them all in there together. But that, I don't really understand what the hell you're talking about. I am wondering if you're interested in the topic of the next step in not only democracy, but on our collective identity, which I would suppose is beyond polarization or rather argumentation. How would you feel about me calling in? Well, I definitely don't want you calling in. If there's a way that you can call in, then please don't. I don't want to have to hang up on your ass, but I don't really know what you're talking about, bro. I mean, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about anything. It's just I don't know what you're talking about. Suppose is beyond polarization. What do you mean? What you talking about, Willis? Spoon feed me a little bit on what the heck you're talking about. Tell me what you mean. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about anything, brother. But let's see, where was we? Did I already say the strong link between depression and vaping? For whatever reason, it's like, well, just like I was saying, I think that a lot of people misrepresent what nicotine and caffeine is actually doing to your body. It's not calming you down. It's actually putting you in more of a state of almost like a panic inside your body, because nicotine is an uplifter. It creates your heart to work harder and all that stuff. The more smoke and everything like that you do. And so is caffeine. I mean, caffeine's not good for you. Caffeine is also an energizer. It pumps you up, gets you going. There's not a whole lot that is really known about the side effects of the vape and the e-cigs, because it's still so new. The last study was done in 2019, so they're starting to ramp up on it because of all of the demand on all these flavors and stuff. So they're trying to ramp up their production and trying to get as much information out there to us as they can. But like I said, 56%. Where was that? 56. Yeah, 56% of e-cig users are more likely for a heart attack. So, I'm going to just try and stay on top of all this information and try to get as much as I can. And we'll come back to this and we'll touch base on it again from time to time. But like I said, there's information out there that is similar to cigarettes, but then there's also information out there that is linking a lot of these problems to just the flavors of the vape or the e-cig itself. So calling and offering ways people joining voice chats on Discord, on stream. What I mean by what I wrote was how belief systems often get hardlined as the ultimate truth or viewpoint as a means to dictate society. But anyways, I think democracy and who we see ourselves are vastly related, and that is usually why I'm interested in call in if people are open. Well, I tell you what, man, I'm not into the call in thing, but if you want to have a discussion right here like we are right now, that's fine. I think democracy and who we see ourselves are vastly related. Yeah, to a point. I believe that democracy and how we perceive ourselves are somewhat related, especially in today's world. You're either associated with the left or the right in today's world. Nobody cares about why you think the left is right on this opinion, because you're a right. You know what I mean? You don't agree with the left at all. Well, I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think that you're open, just because, like myself, I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, but I'm open to hear what the Democratic side and what the left has to say. And, I mean, I agree with some things that Biden and his administration have said, and then there's other things that I don't agree with, but I think that the ultimate truth or viewpoint as the means to dictate society is kind of like, I kind of agree with you on that one too, to where people are saying you either see things my way or get the hell away from me. I don't want anything to do with you because you don't agree 100% with how I believe and what I think. So I do believe that the ultimate truth or viewpoint is some way trying to dictate society and tell everybody what they need to do. And if you don't agree with me, then you can go stand over there. If you don't agree with this, then you can go stand in a corner until you do. It's kind of like nobody wants to hear your opinion. They just want to hear you agree with them. So, I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about here. Hopefully, I'm answering your questions, or at least giving you something to think about anyways. I've never done the call-in thing before, so it's really something that I really don't want to get into right at this particular moment, but maybe later on down the road, after we get into a little bit more of these streams and stuff like that, blah, 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 and continue on. And yeah, I mean, we might be able to try to figure something like that out. But as it stands right now, my man, I'm just having a good time, just standing here talking or sitting here talking with you guys and trying to get some information out there about some things here. So, but the flavor bans are definitely the big thing. The disposable e-cig pens, the e-cigs, the e-vapes, all that stuff are exempt from any and all regulations against them, which makes no sense to me because if all the bad stuff they're going to put in the disposable pens and they're just going to make them cheaper for people to buy, I mean, come on, man. It's like a no-brainer. It's like a no-brainer at all. I mean, of course they're going to get what they want. They're going to make millions and trillions of dollars off of all this stuff and but at what risk, because the FDA isn't able to get to them quick enough. There's so many that they say we're going to go ahead and regulate these, but we're not going to regulate these because we don't have time. I mean, how screwed up is that? Appreciate your words as we have more common ground on this subject. But other than that, I respect your direction on how you wish to stream and wish you all the best. Thank you so much, my good sir. Appreciate you tuning in, my man. Have a good rest of your day if you're heading out. If not, hey, keep chiming in, man. We'll have a good conversation here. We'll get it together. But dun, 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 dun. Where are we at here? Odds of a heart attack increased by 42% as of 2017. That's what they're saying. As of February 18th, 2020, the CDC reported 68 people have died since it's called EVALI. It's an acronym for e-cigs or vaping related illnesses. Like I said, the side effects are the same. There's so many different brands trying to get their little bit of the limelight, their little chunk of the corner, and it's too much for the FDA to handle. So I think that they're letting some slide whenever they shouldn't. They definitely shouldn't be letting the disposable pens go. I mean, that's that. I mean, if that's where all the bad stuff is, then why are you letting them go? Makes no sense. It's like, who are you trying to protect here? What's going on with all this? They still don't know the long-term effects because it's still so new. I mean, there's still not a whole lot of information out there on these things. People haven't really been coming into the hospital with long-term illnesses or long-term effects like cigarettes. Cigarettes have been out on the market for forever, right? Cigarettes have been out on the market for 50, 60, 70, 80 years. However long cigarettes have been out on the market, they've been around for a long time. So we know a hell of a lot more about cigarettes and the effect on cigarettes than what we do these vapes and e-cigs and stuff, because like I said, they just came out mainstream pretty much in 2017. We just started getting reports and everything like that as early as 2019. So still kind of early on to get a whole lot of information, but like I said, I will try to stay up on this. But I am amazed at the 946,000 flavored that they have stocked. 946,000 flavored. That is a lot. That is a lot. Currently, oh yeah, here, I missed this one. There's 6 million e-cigs and vaping products are waiting to be approved to stay on the market. There's 6 million of these e-cig products waiting to be approved to stay on the market. See, that's what they're doing. They're applying. There's 6 million of these companies that have applied for an application through the FDA. The FDA says we can't get to you right now, but you can go ahead and sell your product on the lower end, on a not such a huge mass production, but you can just say you have you're allowed to sell your product in 2,500 different locations across the country. That's it. That's all you get until you get approved. Well, those 2,500 locations are selling all this bad shit, right? They're selling stuff that comes out of your exhaust. They're selling freaking stuff that, you know, is causing lung cancer, and just all these different type of chemicals are all being thrown together, and so that you can get hot and spicy Java juice. You know what I'm saying? In your e-cig. So these ones that are at the gas stations and things like that are the most dangerous. Please stay away from them. And they are definitely 100% targeting teenagers with all the wild flavors and all the goofy shit that they have out there. 80% of teens who smoke e-cigs, it's the flavored stuff. PAVE, it's called Parents Against Vaping E-cigs. And the FDA is claiming, now check this out, the FDA is claiming that they're going to decide each application by September 9th of 2022. By September 9th of this year, they're going to have all 6 million e-cig vaping applicants cleared up. I don't see it happening. I see a lot of them getting pushed through the cracks. I see a lot of pockets getting greased because, I mean, this is a money-making thing. You know, this is a money-making thing. This is like sex. You know, sex sells. You know, nicotine sells. These flavored things sell. Alcohol sells. You know, all the bad shit that's bad for you it all sells. You know what I mean? Sex sells, alcohol sells, drug sells, you know, all this stuff sells. So they are 100% jumping all over this, especially if they can get through without any regulations through the FDA. They can just throw whatever chemicals they want into a pot, stir it up, throw it in something, throw a freaking heat to it, and say, here you go, smoke this. And kids are jumping at it hand over foot, hand over fist, man. They're jumping after this stuff. They can't wait to get their hands on the newest flavors and all this stuff. It's just because they're ignorant and they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know enough about anything. They don't have enough life experience, let alone enough common goddamn sense to figure out that this stuff is bad. You know, it's no better than a cigarette. It's really not no better than a cigarette. And these kids are just, you know, you've seen them, you know, in front of you at a stop sign or at a red light or something like that. You know, you've seen them, you know, the big old things of smoke come flying out of the side of the window, you know, and it's like, you know, yeah, okay, yeah, they're e-cigging, you know what I mean? So, but actually what the name of these things are called, it's called, let's see here, vapes, vaporizers, vape pens, hookah pens, electronic cigarettes, parentheses, e-cigs or e-cigarettes or e-cigs, e-cigars, and e-pipes are some of the many tobacco product terms used to describe electronic nicotine delivery systems, otherwise known as ENDS. Jeez, e-pipes are some e-cigars and e-pipes. These products use an e-liquid that usually contains nicotine derived from tobacco, as well as flavorings, propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and other ingredients. The liquid is heated to create an aerosol that the user inhales. And it's saying here that parents and stuff like that can't really tell the difference between the nicotine one and a THC one. Now, the THC ones should have on here somewhere a little THC thing, but it doesn't. It does on the packaging, on the boxing and stuff, but it doesn't on the actual thing itself. I thought it did, but it doesn't. But honestly, you can't tell the difference between this and an e-cig. You know, only difference is this has got THC in it, and an e-cig has got nicotine and flavoring in it. Well, this has got THC and flavoring. There's some form of flavoring in this thing to give it the I think this is banana. I think this is supposed to be like a banana flavor. And then this guy here, I think, is supposed to be, I can't remember what the flavor is on this one. It doesn't really say. No, it don't really say what the flavor is. I was just looking on here to see what it said. the warnings and stuff. For medical use only, not for resale or transfer. May be unlawful outside of the state of Ohio. So, I mean, it doesn't really give you any information on it. Other than this product contains THC. See, there's a little thing right here that shows the THC symbol. That, and it's an evening. It's an evening vape. So this is an indica vape. They're both indica vapes. But we'll get into the marijuana one. We'll get into all that stuff later. That's a whole different stream in itself, baby. That's gonna be a good stream right there. Let me tell you that. I don't care who you are, you're gonna like that stream whenever we get into all the marijuana streams and stuff. But hey, I hope you guys like my little baked potato guy starting up the stream for us here. So I'm trying to change some things up, get a different look going on here for the stream, and eventually I will end up changing up some of this stuff. I want to do some reshelving and all that stuff back there. So I want to move more of my my action figure things that I have on display over here. I want to put those back here. But as it stands right now, I think we're just going to leave that alone. But yeah. But anyways, back to the vapes. Like I said, guys, there's really not a whole lot of stuff out there. I mean, the smoke could cause permanent blindness. The flavor bans. I mean, we went over everything that I've come across. I don't really know what else to get into here. See, this is where I need to start planning to have two things that I can just roll right into. Have something else, and then have my main topic, and then have a backup as well. But I don't know. Damn, man, we haven't even been on for 40 minutes yet, and I'm already almost done. Oh, shoot. This is where having a game in front of me was always good because, gave us something to look at instead of just me. It does say teens that vape are 3 times more likely to use marijuana vapes with their peers. Yeah, like I said, guys, there's not a whole lot of information out there on the e-cigs because they're still so new. They're still coming out with them. They're still producing them. They're still making them. A lot of them, over 6 million, currently 6 million e-cigs are waiting to be approved so that they can stay on the shelves. And as soon as they're approved, they're going to go bigger. So then you'll start seeing them at Walmarts and things like that, and other major grocery stores instead of just these rinky-dink little stores or your gas station. What's another topic we could roll into here, guys? Because I don't want to end stream yet. Way too early. I guess we could get into the marijuana vapes, huh? Might as well, since we're here talking about vapes, we might as well get into the marijuana vapes. So e-cigarettes can be worse than regular cigarettes. Yes, Nana, they can be. If you're using the flavors. If it's not approved by the FDA, like if you get a flavor and it doesn't say that it's been approved by the FDA, then that's potentially a bad one. If you just go with just a nicotine e-cig, you're fine. As long as it doesn't have the flavors and as long as it's been approved by the FDA, you'll be okay. But they actually claim that using an e-cig is better for you than smoking. Yes. So e-cigs, yeah. Yep, e-cigs can be worse as long as you're not using the juices. Or not the juices, but the flavors. The flavors is where the bad stuff is at because they can't really regulate what's in those flavors. I mean, hell, they're putting exhaust fumes into these things. I mean, that's just amazing that they put exhaust fumes. It's a gas. It's a chemical found in exhaust fumes. They may not be exhaust fumes, but it's a chemical that is found in your exhaust. I mean, that's amazing that they're putting those to get these flavors. So it definitely makes me wonder about the THC vapes. Are the THC vapes the same? Oh, wrong one. I got 2 different mouses going on here. go. Go with this one right here. THC vape health effects. It says if you vape THC oil regularly, you may develop a tolerance, potentially through the way cannabis creates neuroadaptive charges in the brain. Okay, well, that didn't really help. That really wasn't that helpful. I already knew that. Go up here to the news. Yeah, everything that I'm looking at, guys, is here on Google. Medical marijuana. How to vape safely. There again, it's saying that the benefits, they don't really understand the risks and benefits of vaping. Warned against using vaporizer products. In 2019, the FDA and the CDC warned against using vaporizer products and e-cigs and e-cigarettes with THC. That's because evidence has shown that these products could have harmful ingredients that increase the lung risk damage, or the lung damage risk. However, more evidence shows that vaping is less harmful than conventional cigarettes. Vaping involves using electronic devices with batteries and metal coils that heat the herb until it evaporates. The user inhales the vapor, meaning vaping doesn't involve ingesting smoke. So you're not having the smoke, but you're having a vape. It's vaping smoke, right? It's an evaporation smoke. For this reason, many people consider vaping a healthier alternative to conventional smoking. The current market has many vaping devices, including the best wax pens and vaporizers, and these devices may vaporize slightly differently. Cannabis is usually in 3 formats that a person looking at a vaporizer can encounter. These are wax, oil, and herbs. Now, all of those products are regularly available to me at dispensaries, at the local dispensary, because I have a medical marijuana card, and I'm a huge advocate for medical marijuana and the legalization of recreational marijuana. So I can get all this stuff, the wax, oils. I usually do the herb. Every once in a while, I will get some THC vapes just for whenever I'm sitting here streaming, because my wife doesn't want me smoking in the house. So I try to respect her wishes and not smoke in the house. So, but I do smoke the THC vapes. Now, I've never messed with dab pens. It says here, when a person uses a dab pen, they use a device with a mouthpiece and why can't I say this word? Atomizer, right? Atomizer and a battery. Wax refers to a semi-solid substance that from the cannabis plant with high active compound concentrates. Since it's not cut with carrier oils, it's more potent than oil or herb. So the dab pen is where it's at, baby. That's gonna set you off in a whole different freaking world. Now, if you're like me, I'm not a big fan of the dab pens. I've never really tried them. I've never done a dab. I'm an old school guy. I put my shit in a bong and I toke it up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm an old school guy. I don't get into the dab pens, but I have been thinking about it because it's more pure. It's a more pure form of smoking than how I've been doing it. How I do it is pretty much considered the wrong way to do it. This way here with the atomizer. Wow, that would be so weird to say. Hey, I need to buy me an atomizer. I mean, shit, I feel like I'm off the Big Bang Theory or something. I need to buy me an atomizer for my dab kit, please. Why is vaping safe? Whether you want to vape marijuana as a treatment, therapeutic relief, or pleasure, the benefits might cost you, and this could compromise your safety and health or increase the risk of harm. But researchers are yet to conclude whether vaping or using devices like a wax vape pen is safer than conventional smoking. Yes, whenever you smoke cannabis, you inhale the smoke. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, marijuana smoke has cancer-causing chemicals. Oh, shit. Even when smoking medical marijuana, you expose yourself to the same cancer-causing substances as a person who smokes tobacco. Ooh. However, researchers have not linked marijuana smoke to increasing cancer risk yet. Okay, well, that's a pause. That's a positive. That's a plus. They haven't yet, anyways. So I'm getting a double dose. I'm actually doing it completely, totally ass backwards. I need to quit smoking cigarettes and just focus on smoking medical marijuana instead. Nevertheless, cannabis smoking causes microscopic invisible injury to the airways. Uh-oh. Such concerns are why more people want to switch to vaping, but is vaping medical marijuana safer than smoking? I don't know. Probably not. I'm gonna say since vaporizers since vaporizers don't burn cannabis, they don't produce smoke, protecting users from combustion toxins. So I'm gonna say that these are a hell of a lot more safer than smoking a joint, right? They're just not as potent. For a person like me, these are not as potent. I'm so used to the old school way of doing it, and I know what I'm getting whenever I do it that way, right? This here, you kind of don't know what you're getting because sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. You really need to pay more attention whenever you're messing with this as opposed to bud. Um, there's also, just because it's saying that you're getting away from the smoke, you're still inhaling. You know, whenever I do these too much, I kind of feel, I don't know. Whenever you cough and everything like that, you get more of a liquidy mucus type of thing instead of such a dry mucus from just a smoke. It's different, and it kind of makes, after so long of doing these for me, like after one whole day, my lungs kind of feel like, I don't know, like a damp washcloth. You know what I mean? Like a wrung out washcloth. They just kind of feel soggy. You know what I mean? And it just kind of, it's a different feeling. If you vape all day long, you understand what I'm talking about. It's a different feeling in your lungs. And like I said, whenever you cough, it's more of a wet instead of a dry from smoking, from the smoke. So, to me, that's where I've definitely noticed the difference between vaping and smoke. Uh, your cough is a little bit more wet. Your lungs feel a little bit more saturated, kind of. You feel kind of, kind of sluggish almost, because it's like, you almost feel like you got like a gut full of water, but not. Wild Wax, do you know the man? No, I don't know that man. No, I don't know him. Don't know him. But yeah, that's been. I have never done the e-cigs with the nicotine. I've always done the e-cigs or the vape, the THC vapes, and I know that after I do these for like a whole day, it's just, you just kind of feel bleh inside. It's just a different type of a feeling as opposed to smoking a bong or something like that. Although they did say that in 2019, emergency visits due to vaping products have declined since they started knocking off some of the flavors and stuff. Since they started taking out some of the flavors, some of the hospitalizations and emergency room visits have kind of toned down a little bit. So, I mean, that right there shows you that it's the flavoring that's in these things, because they're not able to regulate and tell what's going on with each one of these vapes. So the flavored ones are what is causing people problems. So it's just, why haven't they gotten to all these? Why, what's the holdup? And I'm sure they'll tell you, understaffed, they don't have enough researchers to do it all, or there's just too many. I mean, there's 6 million of them right now on the shelves that are waiting to get approved by the FDA. And I can guarantee you more than half of those will not make it. Right now, they're making the money while they can, but as soon as it comes across the FDA is going to say, get the fuck out of here. You know, you got some nasty stuff in here. Can't believe you've been selling this stuff, but it's already been out there for how long? How many months? How many people have bought it? How, you know, what damage has already been done before the FDA finally gets it and says, whoa, we need to put a stop to this thing being sold. You know, that's why you see stuff that's out there today and then it's gone tomorrow, because the FDA or something like that came along and said, whoa, we're taking this off the shelves. And they don't have to tell you shit. They don't have to tell you nothing. They don't have to tell you that this product is coming off of the market. They don't have to tell you anything at all other than boom, it's just gone. You know, how many restaurants have you used to, did you used to go to, like you went to last weekend, and this weekend it's gone. It's just closed. Nobody said anything. Nobody put anything in the newspaper. Nobody made a nationwide freaking, post letting everybody know. They just shut down. And that's what the FDA does with this stuff. They come across it, they find out that it's bad, boom, they pull it off the market, and you're none the wiser. You're sitting there going, well, where's my strawberry root beer mango tropical e-cigarettes with THC oil because they mostly have vitamin E asterisk. Oh, see, I'm learning all kinds of stuff here today too, guys. With THC oils because they mostly have vitamin E in vitamin E acetate, whatever. Ace, I think it's acetate, vitamin E acetate. So the THC vapes aren't any better. Holy crap. How to smoke marijuana with a vape responsibility. Is there one? Is there a way? It says to take it in small amounts and waiting for 20 to 30 minutes in between. So they're really not safe for you. They are, but they're not. This means you get the high effect faster when vaping than when smoking. Oh, the vapor that you inhale is more potent than the smoke. Yeah, I get that, but I'm not a firm believer on that. I think that these aren't as potent. For someone like me, these aren't as potent. This is kind of like, we call these my binky. Whenever we're going out in public or something like that, my wife will say, "Hey, you got your binkers?" And I'll say, "Oh, nope, I almost forgot it." Or, you know what I mean? I'll have to run back in the house, grab this guy or that guy there, just because it helps to take the edge off while I'm out in public, because, you know, I got other shit going on. So I got other issues. So about being out in public. So it just kind of helps to take the edge off whenever I am out in public. If I start feeling a little too anxious, a little too rambunctious or something like that, I can just, you know, take a couple rips off of that guy, and you know, you're pretty much good to go for a little while anyways. But it's not something that, you know, I walk around the store like, you know, sucking on like a fiend or anything. You know, it's nice to know that you got it there just in case, you know, because you never know. I mean, people nowadays are pretty much inconsiderate assholes. So, you know, they don't really care too much about the next guy, and sometimes that starts getting on my nerves. So I get a little anxious every once in a while. But that's usually, guys, I don't vape. I'm a burner. I like my bud. I like my bong. I like my, you know, I'm not into the vape stuff. I think it kind of freaked me out whenever it first came out and they were talking about popcorn lung and all that other stuff. Now that I know more about popcorn lung, and it's actually linked to diacetyl, but it's a chemical used to flavor foods. It used to be an old school popcorn, but they took it out once the link was connected there to certain cancers and stuff like that. So I think that I think the vapes just left a bad taste in my mouth, you know. And I'm old school anyways. Um, you know, that's how I learned how to ingest marijuana, was, you know, through smoking it through bud form or herb form, or however you want to say it, not vaping. And see, that's like the generation gap, right? That's like the big generation gap as to why you don't see 20-something-year-olds out there smoking cigarettes, but you'll see them pull a vape out of their pocket. You know, that's that generation gap there. Whereas my generation was more about smoke, you know. This generation is more about vape and flavors of vape and all that other stuff. So it's just, for me, I never really personally found a whole lot of enjoyment in the vape thing. They have other stuff out there too, like drinks and all that stuff. I never really got into the drinks. I did the drinks once and they tasted kind of nasty. So I never really did the drinks again. But for me personally, I never really got into the vape thing. And I don't really think that I will. They're nice to have, you know, for going out and about in public, for sitting here in front of you guys, just to kind of help take the edge off, help keep me where I need to be a little bit sometimes. But to do it on a regular basis, I don't think that I would. I don't think that I could get into even a nicotine vape. I don't know. I think that I have such a bad taste in my mouth over the vapes that I just I don't find them very appealing. I would much rather, you know, smoke a joint than smoke a vape, you know. But like I said, you know, my wife doesn't like me to smoke in the house. I don't know how long we're gonna continue this little charade of me not smoking in the house. I don't know. I've been saying this for like a year now. I'm gonna one of these days I'm just gonna come in here and burn a big old fat bowl. But you know, I don't know. I need to get me an exhaust fan installed over here somewhere first, or at least get this contraption here behind me out of the way, and then we can open up the window or something maybe. But No, I think the vapes, they have their place, but for me personally, they don't have a very big place. I'm not a big advocate of the vapes. I would prefer. I would like to try out the dab stuff just to try it out because it is the purest way to smoke it, and I do agree with getting away from the smoke as well. But I don't know. I mean, it's like, I'm so used to doing it one way that changing it would be kind of weird, and just vaping all the time, I think would be weird. But I mean, not saying that I couldn't get used to it, and I may end up going that route with whenever it comes to quitting smoking. So that way you're still smoking into the sense to where you're getting the nicotine, but you're not getting all that harmful smoke. So dream on about in the house. Yeah, well, sometimes what she don't know won't hurt her. But whenever she finds out about it, then it's gonna hurt me. So that's why I haven't been smoking in the house that much. Well, not that much, but I don't at all. So let me rephrase, just in case by some chance she tunes into my stream at that exact moment. But no, guys, I'm not a real big fan of the e-cigs, of the THC vapes, or none of that stuff. I would assume to not even to mess with them, but you know, because they have. I mean, the more that I'm reading this stuff, such products have vitamin E, acetate, additives, heavy metals, opioids, pesticides, fungicides, and poisons that become hydrogen science. Oh, wow. And poisons that become hydrogen cyanide when heated. So it says here that the THC products are responsible for the EVALI, which is the acronym for e-cigs or vaping related illnesses. Wow, I didn't know that. Because see, I think whenever they came out, they were just trying to get them out, and a lot of people were buying them over the counter and stuff like that. Were buying them from unreliable sources and stuff like that, and people were getting a hold of some bad stuff. Now, I do believe the stuff that I buy at the dispensary is probably more safer than you can buy out on the street. At least I would hope, anyways. Um, I would hope that it's a little bit more safer than the stuff you can buy out there on the street. But hey, you never know. Because, like I said, this right here came from the dispensary, and there's absolutely nothing on it saying that it's been approved by the FDA. So that's kind of crazy. A product from the dispensary itself does not have approved by the FDA on it. So it makes me wonder, is it approved by the FDA, or is any of this stuff approved by the FDA? I mean, which ones are approved and which ones aren't? Do they actually say that they're approved by the FDA or not? I should have went and got at least some pictures of some, anyways, of some that you find at the gas stations and stuff, and take pictures of them so that I could show you guys. But I didn't. I totally forgot about doing that. But in any event, ladies and gentlemen, e-cigs are not that great for you. They're not that great. They may actually be worse if you're messing with the flavors. Just nicotine ones are bad for you, but they're not as bad for you as the flavored ones. So stay the hell away from the flavored ones. Stay the hell away from the flavored THC vapes. Stay the hell away from the ones that you buy at the freaking gas station. And try to have a little bit more discipline, have a little bit more sense about yourself, and pay a little bit more attention to what the hell you're buying and what you're putting in your body. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Nana, that if it's been approved by the FDA, it's going to say somewhere on the packaging that it's been approved by the FDA. But neither one of these that I have an FDA approval on them. Yeah. Neither one of these have anything written on them from the FDA. So those, that blows me away. And I got both of those from a licensed dispensary, and neither one of those are approved by the FDA. So I think that pretty much seals the deal for me, guys. I'm not going to be using the THC vapes no more, because I didn't think about that, and I didn't have the information in front of me like I do now. So I think that the benefits of not having the smoke it's not going to be worth it in the long run. But then again, for as little as I use these things, I don't use them all the time. I don't use it every day. I may occasionally just take a couple rips off of it throughout the day, just periodically, for whatever reason. I might be in here doing something. That's usually whenever I puff on them, is whenever I'm in here, and especially now since I'm trying to change up the stream and it be a little bit more of talking, more informational stuff like that. I've been in here a lot more the last couple nights, spending a lot more time in here, right here in front of this freaking screen, trying to figure out, trying to get information, get some things to talk about, and so that way I'm not just sitting here like a schmuck. So I definitely will vape then, because I'm just sitting in here, doing some research, doing whatever. So I really don't use it that much. So I don't really know. Would it be worth me not doing it at all if I just do it every once in a while? Is it going to be something that detrimental that, hey, the guy does it once or, a few times a day, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It makes me a little nervous to buy them anymore, because they're not approved by the FDA. Coming from the dispensary, that's kind of hard to believe that they're not approved by the FDA. But see, there again, there's so many of them out there. You wouldn't think that that these wouldn't be approved by the FDA because they're coming from where they're coming from, but apparently they are, right? Apparently they're not approved by the FDA, and they're still coming from where they're coming from. So it doesn't make any sense. I definitely have a different outlook on these things after reading some of this and actually talking about some of this. Yeah, that's what it keeps talking about, is that a lot of people are using them because of the flavors, the different flavors and stuff that's appealing to people. And it's like you're not smoking anything. It's like you're drinking a drink, or, sucking on a lollipop or something. It's not like you're smoking anything. It says to get the right product. Yeah, it says to know more about what your product is and what is in it, and what to vaporize medical marijuana could have adverse effects because heating the oils alter their chemical composition. Yeah, it says research the products you use to vaporize medical marijuana to ensure your safety. So it comes down to adverse effects of using low quality vaping products with harmful ingredients like vitamin E acetate, pesticides, and heavy metals. So you need to really do your research. If you're getting stuff that is junk, if you're getting stuff from your neighbor next door, you have no idea where the hell it's coming from, then definitely stop doing that, because this vitamin E acetate and pesticides, they're claiming that it has harmful contents like heavy metals, vitamin E, acetate, and pesticides in them. So, Nana, it's probably not a good idea to keep using them. No, I don't. I'm beginning to think not. I am definitely beginning to think not. I think that I'm just going to use up what I have left, and then that's going to be it. I don't think I'm going to buy them anymore. Why spend the money on something that's just not good for you? And it's telling you right here. But just because I'm buying it from the dispensary doesn't mean, I would hope that it's a little bit more higher end, but it's still not been approved by the FDA. So you don't really know. Do I really know that what I'm smoking is different than what somebody else is that, got theirs cheaper? than what I got mine for, or from a different location, or from, somebody else? How do I know that what I'm smoking is safer than what the guy next door is smoking? I mean, I don't, because it's not been approved by the FDA. So as far as I know, all this bad shit could potentially be in these vapes that I'm smoking right now. I don't know. It's not been approved by the FDA, so that's what it's telling me, right? That's kind of how that's kind of how I should look at it, is that since it hasn't been approved by the FDA, the chances of it having vitamin E, acetate, heavy metals, pesticides, fungicides, shit like that in it is even greater, right? I mean, that's a good way to look at it, I would think. Look at the situation. It hasn't been approved by the FDA. They're telling you what it looks like if it's not been approved by the FDA. Well, what I have looking at right here is tainted. This stuff is all bad. This stuff could potentially have all those products in it, and I don't even know it. It's pretty weird whenever you think about it and you're actually looking at it, and you can see that, wow, this product has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. So I'm reading the information right now as we speak about how bad these things are. Why do I still have these in my possession? Why would I still keep these things, right? Well, it's because I spent money on them, and I'm going to get every last freaking little nickel out of them is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get every penny out of them sons of bitches. So especially if I'm done with them. I mean, it's a good thing that the lungs are a very, very bouncy back type of organ that we have. They are capable of repairing themselves in a matter of hours. So it just depends on how bad the damage is. And I don't think my damage is that bad. So I think I'm going to stop after these two here are gone. Well, Nana, it does have the ingredients on the label, but there's really not a label. Here, let me show you. That's the label. Right? And then you got this back part. Nowhere on there does it say anything about the Food and Drug Administration. It gives you a little bit of insight on what is in them, but not much. And there's this little thing here on the very top, but you can't really see it that well. Oh, sorry guys, you probably can't see that very good on camera. It tells you what's in it. Damn it, I don't have my flashlight in here, do I? No, I can't see that. It's purple and black writing. But it just tells you how much THC, stuff like that is in it. It's not going to tell you. I don't know. I can't even read that. I can't barely see it. But no, it's not like anything else to where it's going to have like, a typical information label on it. I mean, it does up here, but it doesn't really tell you anything. It just tells you total THC, THCA, D8, D9, CBD. Yeah, it don't really give you a whole lot of information on these things. Tells you Delta 9, THC, Delta 9, THCV, Delta 8, CBD, CBDA. Then it tells you how many milligrams of each one of that is in it. It says oil or soul vape, right? Metered oil or sold for vaporization. Vaporization. No, it doesn't give you any information from the FDA. So I'm potentially smoking all the bad shit. And more times than not, with my luck, it is. It's all bad. It's not good stuff. So, but I try to buy mine like this is OG Crush, OG Kush. I try to buy mine from more known companies. Like this guy is Essence Travelers. You know, I mean, they're well known, they're well respected THC companies in the THC community, I think. So, but even then, that doesn't mean that they're the creme de la creme. You know what I mean? I'm sure that they still put bad stuff. I mean, Philip Morris, the leading cigarette manufacturer in the United States and the world, he definitely put bad shit in his stuff. So, just because they're a reputable name doesn't mean anything. They can put just as much bad stuff in there as the next guy. So, but no, I think the THC vapes are out for me, and I think regular vapes are out for me. I think whenever it comes time for me to quit smoking, whenever I actually put forth the effort to quit smoking, it's going to be done with um, nicotine patch. I'll just use the patch and be done with it instead of ingesting any other foreign substances or potential chemicals or anything like that. So, and it rules. It's very true. Oh, shoot. Oh, shit, guys. It's been a good stream here today. It's been informational. It has been informational. I think that I'm going to be done with the THC vapes for sure and just use the nicotine patch whenever it comes time to quit smoking. So, I really don't know where else to go with this topic, guys. I mean, we've covered we've covered health issues, we've covered mental issues, the anxiety and depression that the younger generation is feeling is because of the nicotine, the amounts of nicotine that are in these things, and the flavors, the different chemicals that are in the flavors are what's causing these kids issues with their mental health. Um, it's affecting each one of them different. It's like somebody who smokes cigarettes for 50 years and never has a medical problem due to it. And, then you got somebody who smokes cigarettes for 10 years and they have all kinds of problems because of it. So everybody is different. Yeah, I've learned a ton today. I've learned a ton. That's why I'm liking these streams, Nana, because we're learning stuff. You know what I mean? We're learning stuff. We're formulating an opinion on certain subjects. Now, tomorrow's going to be totally different. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to start doing decades. I want to start doing something about decades. So I think tomorrow we're going to start with 1920, and we're going to see what was all going on, what was the big hype, and the big things to do, and all the exciting new things that were coming up in the 1920s, the 20s through the 30s, and then maybe next week we'll do the 30s through the 40s, and then the following week the 40s through the 50s. You know what I'm saying? So I've been wanting to do something like that to get into like the old 1920s and see the cars and see what was happening back in those days. So tomorrow's going to be a totally different stream. We're just going to kind of have some fun with the 1920s. So, and as far as a closing statement, guys, I don't feel that e-cigs or vape or anything like that, even on the THC side, is very safe for you. There's just not enough studies out there to know what this stuff is doing. There's not enough research out there to know what is actually in the vape pod or the e-cig or whatever it is. There's just not enough information, and as the information comes in every year, it seems like it's getting worse and worse and worse. So there's just so many different companies out there trying to push their product, and it's making it hard for the younger generations who look at smoking cigarettes as nasty. Oh, that's gross, who wants that smell? Well, you're doing yourself a heck of a lot worse by doing vapes and e-cigs, because you don't know what that oil and that vape consists of. I mean, there's a potential you can blow it out, you could blow it into somebody's face and it permanently blind them. The worst thing that would happen with you if you blew smoke into somebody's face is it would burn your eyes. This stuff is permanently blinding people. So, be careful out there. Do some research. Look into your products that you plan on ingesting into your body. Don't just be some dipshit out there who's willy-nilly and just going to do whatever because so-and-so did it or their buddy down the street's doing it. Be an individual, not part of a herd. You know, have your own mind, have your own opinion, and do what you feel is right for yourself whenever it comes to these things. It's almost like alcohol. These things are everywhere. You know, they're in commercials, they're on TV, they're in gas stations, they're in supermarkets, they're everywhere. So they're a daily, everyday part of our normal everyday life now. And the more that we know about the subjects and things like that, then the better off we are to make opinions on it. And as GI Joe used to say, knowledge is half the battle. So greatly appreciate you guys for tuning in and hanging out. I hope you guys had a good day. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Sorry it's not as long, but these type of streams, I really don't know really how far to go with talking about stuff and how far to drag it out. So it's been about an hour and a half. I do have some stuff to take care of this afternoon. I may be back this evening, and we may do a little bit more on the THC and stuff. But tomorrow, guys, is definitely going to be the 1920s, the roaring 20s, baby. So appreciate you for tuning in and hanging out. Nana Rules, thank you for tuning in and hanging out. And whoever the other two people are that are watching, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope I gave you something to at least think about, you know, some fat to chew on, if nothing else. But until next time, guys, until tomorrow, we will see you guys. Like I said, I might be back tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Nana, very good stream. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out. I do greatly appreciate it. And until tomorrow, at the latest, I will see you guys later. Have a good one, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.